we are moving to another unit, that is biotechnology. In this there are two chapters, are the biotechnology and its process, and other one is biotechnology and its applications. Okay, first we are dealing with biotechnology and what are the process which is involved in biotechnology. Biotechnology is combined term of biology and technology. So it is the combined term of what? Biology and technology. Biology and technology. And the term biotechnology was coined by the scientist Carl Eric. Carl Eric. Okay. So the term biotechnology was coined by the scientist Carl Eric in 1990. In 1990, he coined this term biotechnology. Biotechnology can be defined as the by using the microorganisms, by using plants, by using animal cells or the component of these cells, we are producing certain product and we are producing some process which are useful to humans. Okay, so by using the microorganism, plants, animals, or certain components of these things, we are using to produce certain products which are useful to the humans. Another simple definition, if you want to say about biotechnology, is the scientific art of using living organism to make desired product with help of technology. So we are, with the help of technology, we are using living organism to make some desired product. Actually, it is a scientific art. According to European Federation Technology, according to EFT, that is European Federation Technology, European Federation Technology, according to EFT, what they are giving the definition is biotechnology is the integration of natural science and organism. According to EFT, biotechnology is the integration of natural science and organism, cells, parts, therefore often molecular analogues for products and services. Okay, so this is the definition which is given by the EFT. Then, development of biotechnology. Biotechnology has developed by leaps and bounds during the past century. Okay, so there are so many leaps as well as there are so many bounds are found. And the development of biotechnology can be well understood under two main heads. So, development of biotechnology, I am using the short term B2. Okay, so the development of biotechnology can be well understood under two main heads, that is traditional biotechnology and modern biotechnology. Okay, so traditional biotechnology and modern biotechnology. Traditional biotechnology and modern biotechnology. What are traditional biotechnology? Traditional biotechnology which uses bacteria and other microbes in the day-to-day life. Okay, daily we are using microbes and other bacteria for the preparation of dairy products like curd, ghee, cheese. Okay, so we are doing biotechnology in our home itself. Okay, so the preparation of curd, ghee, cheese, we use bacteria and several other microorganisms for the formation of these dairy products. And come to the modern biotechnology. Okay, and not only this, also we are preparing the alcohol beverages, okay, alcohol fermentation beverages by using the yeast, the fungus yeast. Okay, so these are the traditional biotechnology. Come to the modern biotechnology. In new biotechnology, actually it is based on rDNA technology, that is recombinant DNA technology. Okay, so modern biotechnology is based on recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant DNA technology, simply rDNA technology. Okay, so the new biotechnology is based on the recombinant DNA technology. So this modern biotechnology manipulates genetic information in organism. Okay, they will manipulate the genetic information which is present in the organism. Example, human gene producing insulin has been transferred and expressed in bacteria. Human gene producing insulin. Okay, normally our body don't have the ability to produce insulin. That's why we are injecting insulin to our body when we have some diabetic issues. So human gene producing insulin has been developed and it is transferred and expressed in the bacteria. That is one example for modern biotechnology. So these are the two developments of biotechnology. Okay, so development of biotechnology we can be convey by using two heads, that is traditional biotechnology and modern biotechnology. Then come to the principles of biotechnology. Principle. Principles of biotechnology. Principles of biotechnology. So mainly two principles are the chemical engineering and genetic engineering. Chemical engineering and genetic engineering. Chemical engineering and genetic engineering are the two main principles of biotechnology. Chemical engineering and genetic engineering. Okay, first one, chemical engineering. Chemical engineering, they maintain of a sterile condition to enable the growth of only desired microbes for manufacture of biotechnological products like antibiotic, vaccine and enzyme. So chemical engineering is mainly by using some chemicals we are providing a sterile environment for the growth of particular microbes or growth of particular other organisms, so that from that particular growth of organism we will obtain a particular products, that is our desired products. So chemical engineering which is providing a sterile environment for the growth and development of that particular organism. Come to genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is the direct manipulation of genome of an organism. Okay, so genetic engineering is the direct manipulation of genome. Genome can be either DNA or RNA. Direct manipulation of genome of an organism. Mainly it involves the transfer of new gene to improve the function or trait into host organism. So mainly genetic engineering involves the transfer of that new genome. Okay, first we are manipulating a new genome, then we are transferring that new genome into the host organism so that that particular function or that particular character will improve. Okay, as a result of this transfer of new genome to the organism, a new character will be produced in that particular organism. Okay, so what are the steps which mainly involved in genetic engineering? First one is the manipulation. Manipulation of genome. First we are manipulating a genome. The genome can be either DNA or RNA. Then second we are transferring that new genome into host. Transferring the genome into host. Then third one, due to the transferring of genome, what happened? A new character or phenotype will be expressed in that particular host. So expression of character. Okay, so this is the mainly which happening in the genetic engineering. Expression of character or trait. Or we will due to that expression maybe new products will be produced. Okay, so these are the principles of biotechnology. In that we are moving to discuss with genetic engineering detailing. Okay, genetic engineering. Chemical engineering, which we will discuss at the in the second chapter, that is what biotechnology and its application. Okay, like tissue culture. In that we will discuss what are chemical engineering detailing. In this chapter we are discussing about the genetic engineering detailing. Okay, genetic engineering. Genetic engineering, which also referred to as recombinant DNA technology or gene splicing. Recombinant DNA technology. Recombinant recombinant DNA technology, or it is called as gene splicing. Okay, so the genetic engineering, that is recombinant DNA technology, or it is called as gene splicing. Actually, it is one kind of biotechnology which involves manipulation of DNA. So, genetic engineering is mainly the manipulation of DNA. It deals with the isolation of useful genes from a variety of sources and formation of new combinations of DNA, that is the formation of recombinant DNA, maybe for repair, improvement, or a perfection, or for matching of a genotype. So first we are isolating a particular DNA from an organism. Okay, first we are isolating. Then we are producing new combination of that particular DNA. That is the formation of recombinant DNA. Then after the formation of recombinant DNA, what happens? We will insert that recombinant DNA into particular organism. So as a result of that transfer or insertion, new characters or new products will be produced. Okay, so that is for either for the repair or for the improvement or for making some any perfection. Okay, genetic engineering may be defined as a technique for artificial and deliberately modifying DNA to suit human needs. So mainly all these things which we are doing is for our human needs only. Okay, our human needs. In genetic engineering, for manipulation, breakage of DNA molecule occur at two desired places with the help of restriction endonuclease to isolate its specific DNA segment and then insert it in another DNA molecule at a desired position. Okay, so simply this sentence is giving a rough idea about genetic engineering. In genetic engineering, for DNA manipulation, what we want to do? Breakage of DNA molecule occur at two desired places with the help of restriction endonuclease. So genetic engineering involves restriction endonuclease. Restriction endonuclease. We will discuss what is the restriction endonuclease in our upcoming section. Okay. So restriction endonuclease helps to cut the DNA into desired places. Suppose you consider this is strand of DNA. So the restriction endonuclease will cut the DNA at two desired positions. Okay, so from it is cut and this cut. So as a result of this, we will obtain a small strand. Okay, and this small strand will join with some other DNA. This small strands of DNA may join with some other DNA molecule. Okay, some other DNA molecule. So this newly formed DNA molecules are called the recombinant DNA. Okay, recombinant. Then this recombinant DNA which we will insert to the host organism, and inside the host organism that recombinant DNA will multiply by using the host organism protein producing machinery, so that the newly produced recombinant DNA will express certain character, okay, or express certain produce certain products that may be useful for humans. So restriction endonuclease will use for the cutting of the DNA in particular places. The new DNA molecule is recombinant DNA. Okay, so this newly produced DNA is called the recombinant DNA, and this technique is called genetic engineering. This technique is called genetic engineering. Genetic engineering aims at adding, removing, or repairing a part of genetic material. Genetic engineering, what are the aim? Adding, removing, or repairing a part of genetic material. So what is the main aim of genetic engineering? Adding, removing, or repairing a particular part of genetic material. Okay. Do you know who is the father of genetic engineering? Father of genetic engineering is Paul Berg. Paul Berg is the father of genetic engineering. Paul Berg is the father of genetic engineering. Paul Berg is the father of genetic engineering. He transferred gene of SV40 virus, that is simian virus 40. SV40 virus. He transferred SV40 virus. SV means simian virus. Okay. He transferred SV40 virus in E. coli with the help of lambda fish. Okay. So what he done is Palmer transfer SV40 virus into E. coli. He transferred SV40 virus into E. coli with the help of lambda phage. With the help of lambda phage. Okay. So this is what Palmer done. The concept, and he get Nobel Prize in 1940. Sorry, he get Nobel Prize in 1980. He get Nobel Prize in 1918 for this transfer of SV40 virus into E. coli with the help of lambda phage. Okay, so this is what Palmer done. Then the concept of genetic engineering was the outcome of two very significant discoveries made in the bacterial research. The concept of genetic engineering was the outcome of two very significant discoveries made in bacterial research. They are, first one is the, what are the two very significant discoveries which happened due to the genetic engineering. First one is the presence of extra chromosomal DNA in bacteria. The first discovery is the presence of extra chromosomal DNA. Extra chromosomal DNA in bacteria are called plasmids. Okay, so the presence of extra chromosomal DNA fragments called plasmids in the bacterial cell. These plasmids have the ability to replicate along with the chromosomal DNA of bacteria. Okay, so this plasmid DNA have the ability to replicate along with the chromosomal DNA of what? Bacteria. So what are plasmids? Plasmids are the extra chromosomal circular DNA which is present in the bacteria. Suppose you consider this is the bacterial cell. Bacterial cell central it has a not nucleus, it is a nucleolus membrane. You can see inside that you can see the DNA. Okay, so this is the DNA, that is the chromosomal DNA. Chromosomal DNA. And in the cytoplasm, we can see a circular shaped self-replicating DNA molecule. Circular shaped self-replicating DNA molecule, they are called the plasmid. Okay, so this is what plasmid and chromosomal DNA. Then that is was the first major discovery, that is the presence of plasmid in bacteria. Then next one is the presence of enzyme restriction endonuclease which cut DNA at specific sites. So the next important discovery by using this concept genetic engineering is the presence of restriction endonuclease. Restriction endonuclease is the what? First important one is the plasmid. Second one is the presence of restriction endonuclease which cut DNA at specific site. Okay, so we will call these enzymes as molecular scissors. Okay, we know scissors we will use for cutting. Molecular scissors means the same restriction enzymes, the restriction endonuclease will do the same purpose of scissor, that is cutting, and we are using this restriction endonuclease in molecular biology, hence it is called as molecular scissors. Okay, so these are about the genetic engineering something. Okay, then come to tools for genetic engineering. Okay, three types of biological tools are used in the synthesis of recombinant DNA. Mainly, we are using three major tools for the synthesis of rDNA or recombinant DNA. What are the major tools? Major tools for genetic engineering. Okay, three types of biological tools are used in the synthesis of recombinant DNA. They are enzymes, cloning vector, and host. enzymes, cloning vector, and host. These are the three major tools which we are used in case of what? This is only major tools. We will discuss some minor tools also for the genetic engineering. Okay. Today we will discuss about the tool enzyme. Okay. Rest tools we will discuss that in our upcoming classes. First one, what are enzymes? Enzymes. Okay. Many type of enzymes are used in genetic engineering, but most important enzymes which is required for genetic engineering are lysine enzyme, restriction enzyme, DNA ligase and alkaline phosphatase. Okay, there are many type of enzymes which we are used in case of genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology, but the main important enzymes they are lysine enzyme, restriction enzyme, DNA ligase and alkaline phosphatase. Okay, so what are the lysine enzyme, restriction enzyme, enzymes, then DNA ligase, and finally alkaline phosphatase. Okay, so these are the four different types of enzymes which we mainly used in case of recombinant DNA technology. First one, lysine enzyme. Okay, lysine enzyme. In case of plant cell, the lysine enzymes are cellulase, pectinase, protease, and lipase. Okay, so first we are discussing about plant cell. In case of plant cell, we know the plant cell are made up of cellulose, lipids, protein. Okay, so a plant cell contain these lysine enzymes, that is cellulose, pectinase, cellulase enzyme to break the cellulose, and pectinase enzyme to break the pectin molecule, which is useful for the formation of the cell wall. Then protease enzyme is to break down the proteins, and finally lipase enzyme for the lysine or cutting of the lipids. Okay, so these are the lysine enzyme which is present in plant cell. What is about animal cell? Animal cell, we know animal cells are made up of protein and lipids. So in animal cell we can see the lysine enzyme, that is protease and lipase. Protease and lipase are the lysine enzyme which is present in case of animal cell. Then come to fungal cell. We know the fungal cell wall are made up of chitin. Along with chitin, protein and lipids also there. So in fungal cell, we can see chitinase, protease and lipase. Okay, in case of fungal cell, chitinase, protease and lipase. Then come to bacterial cell. Bacterial cell, I hope you know, bacterial cell is made up of murines. Okay, murine like NAM and NAC, N-acetyl muramic acid and N-acetyl mucopolysaccharides. Like that, murines or mucopolysaccharides are produced in the the mucopolysaccharides or murines are present in the cell wall of bacteria. Okay, bacterial cell. So lysozymes are present in what? Lysozymes are present in the bacterial cell for the degradation of this cell. So these are the lysine enzymes which is present in the plant cell. In plant cell, cellulose, pectinase, protease, lipase are there. In animals, these and the fungal chitinase are there. In bacterial cell, lysozymes are. So these are the lysine enzyme which is present. Then come to the restriction enzyme. restriction enzyme. Okay. In 1963, scientists discovered two enzymes which is responsible for the restricting the growth of bacteriophage in E. coli. Okay. So, in restriction enzyme. Restriction enzyme. In 1963, scientists discovered two enzymes which are responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in E. coli. Okay, Escherichia coli. That is enzyme 1 and enzyme 2. In 1963, scientists discovered two enzymes. That is enzyme 1 and enzyme 2. In 1963, the scientists discovered two enzymes. They have the ability to restrict the growth of bacteriophage inside the E. coli. Okay, they named enzyme 1 and enzyme 2. They named enzyme 1 and enzyme 2. First enzyme, they have the ability to add methyl group to the DNA. So, enzyme 1, they have the ability to add methyl group to the DNA. Have the ability to add methyl group to DNA. Okay, that is the first, that is enzyme 1 will do, they add methyl group to the DNA. Then enzyme 2. Enzyme 2, it cut DNA at specific site. Enzyme 2 cut DNA at specific site. Specific site. Okay, so this enzyme 2 later we called as restriction endonuclease. Later we called as restriction endonuclease. Or in other words, it is called as molecular scissors. Molecular scissors. Okay, restriction enzymes belong to larger class of enzyme called nuclease. So, this restriction enzymes belong to a larger class of enzyme called nuclease. Okay, so the restriction enzymes, they are belong to a large class of enzyme called nuclease. There are two type of nucleases enzyme. There are two type of nucleases enzyme. Nucleases enzymes are of two type. Okay, nucleases enzymes are of two types. First one is exonucleases. Second one is endonucleases. Exonucleases. Second one is endonucleases. Exonucleases and endonucleases. Exonucleases cut off DNA nucleotides from end. Okay, exo means that nuclease will cut the end of DNA. Okay, exonucleases will cut DNA nucleotides from end. Cut from end. But in case of endonucleases, they will cut DNA at any point except end. Okay, they will cut DNA at any point except end. At the end, exonucleases will cut, but other than all places of DNA, endonucleases will make the cut. Okay, so BAL 31 is an example of exonucleases. BAL 31 and HIND 3 is an example for endonucleases. Okay, exonucleases and endonucleases. Then, mainly in recombinant DNA technology, we will use endonucleases. Okay, mainly we will use endonucleases. So that we want to discuss something more about restriction endonucleases. Restriction endonucleases. Restriction endonucleases. First restriction endonuclease to be discovered was Hnd2. Hnd2 is the first discovered restriction endonuclease. Hnd2 is the first discovered restriction endonuclease. The restriction enzyme always cut DNA molecule at a point of recognizing a specific sequence of base pair. This sequence is known as recognition sequence. Recognition sequence. Okay, so suppose if this is a DNA molecule 5' 3', this restriction endonuclease enzyme only cut this region. Okay, if the restriction endonuclease have the ability to cut only this particular region, so that particular specific sequence of base pair, are called recognition sequence. This particular sequence are called recognition sequence. Only by finding out the recognition sequence, they will cut only that particular point. Okay, rest they will never cut. So each restriction endonuclease is specific to particular recognition sequence. Today, more than 900 restriction enzymes that have been isolated from over 230 strains of bacteria with different recognition sequence. So different recognition sequence are there for different restriction endonuclease. Maybe same recognition sequence can be seen for two different restriction endonuclease. Okay. Then naming of restriction endonuclease, we write Hnd2 is the first restriction endonuclease which was discovered. Then how it is naming like Hnd2? Okay, so naming of restriction enzymes. Naming. Naming of restriction enzyme. Naming of restriction enzyme. First letter comes from the genus. Okay, first letter comes from the genus. Second and third letter comes from the species. First letter comes from the genus. Okay, in this case, first letter will comes from the genus. Second and third letter will comes from the species. Okay, then fourth letter comes from the bacterial strain. Fourth letter will comes from the bacterial strain. From which bacteria it is isolated. That is the fourth letter. And the Roman letter after the name shows that the order in which the enzyme were isolated from the bacterial strain. Okay, the order, at what order it is isolated from that particular bacteria. This is the second order. Okay, second order. Like that we can name different bacteria. For example, just write, for example, first one is Echo R1. Echo R1. Okay, Echo R1. And in Echo R1, no need to write split. Echo R1. In Echo R1, the first word, that is E, comes from the genus. So what is the genus? Escherichia. Then what is the second word, that is CO. Second word, that is CO, comes from the species, that is coli. Escherichia coli is the scientific name of bacteria E. coli. Okay, so the first letter is come from the genus and second letter is comes from the species. Then come to the first, then second, third is come from the species. Then fourth letter, that is R. It is come from the bacterial strain. Okay, so strain of bacteria is R. R strain bacteria. R strain. Then come to the Roman letter 1. So the order isolated is first order. First order isolated. Okay, so this is how Echo R1 is come. Like that you can write Hind3, BAM H1. Like that all these restriction enzymes are named by using this formula. Okay, then come to the mechanism of restriction enzymes. How it is working. Mechanism of restriction enzyme. So mechanism involved, each restriction endonuclease recognizes a specific palindrome nucleotide sequence in DNA. Listen, palindrome. In the last chapter on itself we already discussed what are palindromic sequence. Okay, palindromic. So restriction enzyme will read that particular recognition sequence should be in the palindromic sequence. Then only they will read or recognize. Palindrome in DNA is a sequence of base pair that read same on the two strand when orient of reading is kept same. Okay, when the orientation of reading is kept same, we can read from left to right and right to left. We will read out the same mode. That is what the palindromic sequence. Okay, so the restriction enzymes or restriction endonuclease recognize a specific palindromic nucleotide sequence in the DNA. That is called the recognizing sequence. Plane of cutting. How they are cut? Plane of cut. There are two types of cut is there. Okay, plane of cutting. Plane of cutting. There are two types. That is blunt end and sticky end. Sticky end, blunt end and sticky end. Suppose if consider this is a DNA molecule, this is a DNA molecule and particular restriction endonuclease will come and cut in a common point. Okay, common point. As a result, what will happen is the DNA molecule will cut to produce two fragments of DNA like this. So it has a blunt end. Blunt end means equal end. Okay, equal end. That is what? Blunt end. Then come to sticky end. Come to sticky end. Sticky end means restriction endonuclease cut on two specific sites. Here it is cut and here it is cut. Okay, so what happened means okay, one cut will form here. So two DNA molecules will be produced, one having the upper strand will be short and lower strand will be long, and other having the upper strand it is long and the lower strand it is very short. Okay, like that two strands will be here. So this strand can easily come and stick. Okay, that is a lock and key model like that. Okay, so two strands will be produced. This is what the sticky end. Okay. So blunt end cut both ends of the DNA through the center. So these are called the symmetric cut. These are called the symmetric cut. Symmetric cut, and the sticky ends they are called the asymmetric cut. Asymmetric cuts. Okay. Then as a result two blunts are formed here in sticky ends. They will cut in a way producing protruding and recessed ends. So this is the protrude end, this is the recessed end in case of sticky end. Okay, one recessed end, one protrude end. In this case, this is the protrude end, this is the recessed end. Okay, and if you look, as a result of the sticky end, DNA fragments are produced in single strand, one having a long extension and another having a recessed ends. So these are about restriction endonucleases or restriction enzymes. Okay. Come to alkaline phosphatase. Alkaline phosphatase, that is the other enzyme, alkaline phosphatase. alkaline phosphatase, they prevent the self-ligation of plasmid. That is, the main role of alkaline phosphatase is remove phosphate group from the 5' end of DNA. They will remove phosphate group. They will remove phosphate from the 5' end of DNA. 5' end of DNA, they are removing the phosphate. So further, if you are seeing this is the 5' end and this is the 3' end, and in this section another DNA, again 5' end and 3' end. These two DNA can easily join. Why? Because in 3' end there is a free OH group is there. In 5' end there is a free phosphate group is there. So easily they can make a bond between phosphate and that OH group. But when the alkaline phosphatase remove the free phosphate group from the 5' end, so there is no phosphate group. So the DNA, two DNA cannot be ligate. Okay, so the self-ligation of DNA can be prevented by the removal of phosphate from the 5' end of DNA. Then next one is phosphorylase enzyme. Phosphorylase enzyme. Phosphorylase enzyme. Phosphorylase enzyme help to again add phosphate group in the DNA strand. Okay, so alkaline phosphatase will remove phosphate from the 5' end. This phosphorylase enzyme add phosphate to 5' end of DNA. They will add phosphate to the 5' end. Okay, then DNA ligase. DNA ligase are called the molecular glue. Molecular scissors are called the restriction endonuclease. DNA ligase are called the molecular glue. Molecular glue. Okay, glue means what? We are using glue for sticking pictures in the paper. Okay, the same role is what here DNA ligase is doing. It helps the formation of phosphodiester bond between 5' end phosphate of one strand and 3' hydroxyl group of another. So what is the molecular glue helps to form the phosphodiester bond. Helps to form phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond between the 3' OH and 5' P. That is 3' OH group as well as 5' P. When two DNA segments are taken, so this DNA ligase will help in the formation of the phosphodiester bond between the 3' OH and 5' phosphate group. Okay, so that is the duty of DNA ligase. Then synthesizing enzyme. Synthesizing enzyme. Another type of enzyme is synthesizing enzyme. Okay, so these are some major enzymes. Now we are moving to discuss some minor enzymes, that is synthesizing enzyme. Synthesizing enzyme. These enzymes are used to synthesize new strands of DNA, complementary to existing DNA or RNA template. Okay, we already discussed. Okay, they are reverse transcriptors and DNA polymerase. Synthesizing enzymes are reverse transcriptors and DNA polymerase. We know what are DNA polymerase and reverse transcriptors. Reverse transcriptors helps in the synthesis of complementary DNA strands on the RNA template. Reverse transcriptors helps in the formation of complementary DNA strand in the RNA template, and DNA polymerase helps in the synthesis of complementary DNA strands on DNA template. Okay, so reverse transcriptor form DNA strand in RNA template. DNA polymerase helps in the formation of DNA strand in DNA template. Okay, so these are what synthesizing enzyme. Then finally, we already discussed the joining enzyme, that is the DNA ligase. Okay, so these are about the enzyme, and one more additional things which we want to discuss is the restriction enzyme, that is about echo R1. We want to discuss something more about echo R1, that we will discuss in our next class. Then we will move to the other tool, that is what vectors. Okay, first we will discuss about the echo R1 in our next class, and we will move to the vectors. Okay.